Hello, everyone. I'm Glenda Lewis with WXYZ TV7, and I'm so honored to be here with you tonight so that we can all support the important, really critical work of Forgotten Harvest. We know their important work. We see it in our community every day, and we also know that food is life. It is the sustenance of our community. It's what strong communities are built on, and many families don't have the access to the very basic necessities that they need to thrive each day. And Forgotten Harvest is there. And we appreciate their work, and we need to continue to support their work. So this is a fun event, our happy hour event, our women's virtual happy hour. And we'd normally be in the beautiful Royal Oak Farmers Market, but I'm in my beautiful kitchen. And many of you are at home joining us right now, and we thank you for that. Tonight, to kick off our farm fundraiser, we're going to speak to Forgotten Harvest CEO Kirk Mays. Spartan, go green, Kirk. We go back a ways, and I'm so proud of the work that he's doing for this incredible organization. And Forgotten Harvest Farm Manager, Mike Yancho.
Thank you for joining us for our Women's Harvest Happy Hour from the comfort of your home. This event is incredibly important to support the work of our 100-acre farm in Fenton. The farm provides an incredible selection of healthy vegetables to many growing children and families throughout Metro Detroit. Before we get started, I wanted to share an update of our work in the community over the past several months. Since March, Forgotten Harvest has looked a little different because we've changed our operations in order to keep everyone safe while repacking and distributing food. Meeting the increased need for individuals, families, and seniors in Metro Detroit due to the continued COVID-19 pandemic has been a challenge, since our agencies have seen an approximate 50% increase in clients, and we have been working hard to meet this need. We have also changed our rescue model by purchasing and sourcing more shelf-stable food on top of the regular fresh produce, dairy, and protein, and by increasing the number of mobile distribution sites, which in turn has led to increased costs. Unfortunately, food insecurity isn't going away anytime soon. We hope that while joining us today, you will show your support through our Text to Give platform and our online silent auction. At any point during this program, you can text FEED20 to 91999 to donate. Also, check out our online silent auction. We have exciting experiences and items such as getaways and groceries for a year, thanks to our presenting sponsor, Kroger, all of which will help to support our mission. For every dollar you donate to Forgotten Harvest, we will be able to provide $7 worth of grocery to families in need. Although we can't be together in person, we can still come together to support our neighbors in need. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the person who is keeping the Forgotten Harvest Farm running and ensuring people have continued access to a variety of healthy, fresh vegetables, our farm manager, Mike Yancho.
Thanks, Kirk, and thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Mike Yancho, Forgotten Harvest Farms Manager. Forgotten Harvest Farms has been a vital component of our operations since 2013, thanks to the Maroon family. Of course, this year has brought about some unexpected changes on our farm. We've pivoted our crop plan to focus on crops that are more cost-effective and that have a longer life, in the case that they sit in the field longer than usual due to our decreased volunteer capacity. Normally, by mid-September, we would have had over 2,400 volunteers, but right now, we've had fewer than 400. This growing season, we're growing 12 different crops, some of which include cabbage, sweet corn, green beans, and potatoes. We anticipate harvesting up to 500,000 pounds by the end of the growing season. These crops will all be distributed free of charge to our partner agencies. Healthy, fresh food that we can provide to the community is always needed and appreciated, but right now, more so than ever. Since corporate volunteer numbers are down, we've been very grateful to our dedicated individual volunteers. We have the ability to keep everyone safe and spaced out during their volunteer opportunity. Our mission is deeply rooted in the community and dependent upon the support you are able to give. Whether time or financial, it is vital right now more than ever. Thank you so much for participating in this virtual event this evening. This is our only annual fundraising event dedicated to funding the farm, so your engagement is critical to maintain the important work that happens on the farm every day. We hope to see you on the farm soon.
Thank you so much, Kirk and Mike. It's so important for us to hear about the wonderful work that Forgotten Harvest does for our community. We're in trying times right now. A lot of families are struggling.
Many have lost a livelihood that they've always known. So with the help of Forgotten Harvest, because you can imagine how fresh food's so expensive, it's one of the first things that's cut really from a grocery budget. We need to help that sustenance. We need to help families maintain a healthy life and help support the health of our community. Kroger is our rock this evening, our presenting sponsor, and we cannot thank them enough for being by our side in this effort. If you have anything to give, a little bit, $5, $15, $20, anything that you want to give helps our cause for our community. Please take a moment and text FEED20 to 91999. We also encourage you to check out our silent auction, and that's going on through noon on Sunday, October 25th. A lot of cool things there that also helps our community. Next, we're going to hear from Rachel Hurst, part of our presenting sponsor, the Kroger Company.
Thank you, Glenda. Kroger has a long-standing relationship with Forgotten Harvest and has been involved with the organization for nearly 20 years. Forgotten Harvest is important to Kroger because partners like Forgotten Harvest support our mission to end hunger by 2025 in our communities with our Zero Hunger, Zero Waste social impact plan. Kroger will continue supporting Forgotten Harvest and others alike to fight food insecurity and end hunger right in the neighborhoods we live and serve, which could be your backyard. Please join me in supporting Forgotten Harvest at any point through Sunday, October 25th. You can text FEED20 to 91999 to make a donation.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Now more than ever, it is so important that powerhouse companies like Kroger, we appreciate you guys so much, stand behind Forgotten Harvest and the effort that we're doing in the community because, quite frankly, many people don't know where their next meal is coming from right now. So we thank you for all of your support. We've got a fun, tasty experience. Kelli Lewton of Two Unique Catering. She's the owner, she's the executive chef, and she gets her inspiration from this dish that she's about to prepare from the beautiful garden Forgotten Harvest has. So Kelli, along with a drink to pair. Okay, cheers. Detroit City Distillery. We appreciate you, Kelli. Take it away.
Thank you, Glenda, for the really warm introduction. And we're super excited to be here at the Unique Tasting Room. And every good party starts with the perfect craft cocktail.
Absolutely.
And that's why we have Alyssa from Detroit City Distillery here. So what kind of magic are you going to brew up for our Harvest Happy Hour?
So, Kelli, tonight we're actually going to be having what we call at the tasting room our Pumpkin Moon, but we actually changed the name for the happy hour to be called Harvest Moon.
Did pumpkin, was it inspired by the Forgotten Harvest Farm?
It sure was.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
So normally our Pumpkin Moon cocktail would actually have our Butcher's Cup bourbon, but we actually decided to change it up and do our Gilded Age vodka.
Nice.
Yes. So this is a nice play on what you would have a pumpkin spice latte, but instead it's boozy. So a lot more fun.
Perfect.
Yes. So what we have here tonight is, like I said, our Gilded Age vodka. Normally for the cocktail, you're going to want to put 2 ounces of the vodka.
Or a little more, or a little less.
I mean, it's like whatever you want, really. So 2 ounces of our vodka. And then actually we do our house-made pumpkin spice puree.
Of course you do.
Of course. So what's featured in this is ginger, nutmeg, a little bit of cinnamon, and then also our roasted pumpkin.
Yay.
So we're going to do only an ounce of that. Of course, you can always add more. And then we actually make our own oat milk as well.
Again, overachieving.
Yes. And this is what actually is going to give us that latte kind of feel.
Nice.
And, you know, we could do it cold, could do it warm.
Nice. I like warm.
Yeah.
Warm and
We're going
cold.
to do it cold tonight. And we're actually going to do 4 ounces of this.
It looks so nice and creamy.
Yes.
You can like smell the, you know, you
oat
can,
milk.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like the little bitter gingers coming up.
Yes. And then, to actually top this cocktail off, we actually make our own molasses bitters. Now, this is optional. You don't have to add it, but we love it. It adds a little extra to it. So we're just going to do a couple little drops here. And then you just add ice. A little bit of ice. And then you're actually just going to stir that cocktail right up. And you know you're gonna have to try this, right?
Okay, I'll try it.
All right.
Okay, let's see. Everything you said, like you get every speck in that.
Don't you?
It just like kind of lifts.
Yes.
And
So-
it does taste just like a latte.
I'm telling you. And
I
it's
could get in
gonna-
trouble with
It's
this.
going to pair perfect with the meal tonight.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait to do the meal and have a little sip with this along the way.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Alyssa.
Of course.
I appreciate
thank
you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So now that we have our cocktails rolling, I think the second part of our recipe packet is talking about how we stage food and props. So I'm just going to take maybe a couple minutes and I'm going to talk about some different things we have on the table. Adrienne here works for Teeny Caterers and Planners, and she is our director of fun. She does social media, and today she's going to help me just so we can get through this in a timely fashion. She's going to kind of be my today's sous chef, kind of help me with dishes, take things away, and you might have to taste one or two things just to make sure we're on track.
Oh, darn.
Okay, good. All right, so let's talk a little bit about setting the stage. So all good events start with like a nice base layer, right? And then we want to put things on it. So I think people often, I know like in my family, people are like, oh, Kelly, we can't make things look like you, make them look. But it's really easy. And let's just talk about a few aspects of that quickly. So I want to give a shout out to English Gardens because they helped us today. They're such great partners for Forgotten Harvest. And we're really happy to have some of their things with us. So you could buy some things from English Gardens. I picked up these beautiful gourds at the Royal Oak Farmers Market. The Eastern Market is, of course, wonderful. So just some different things. You might have some little vases in your house that maybe now we're going to put some wheat in them, right? Or something that feels a little autumn. I think sometimes when you think in autumn, people are kind of in the Halloween zone, like, oh, it's a big pumpkin. But it doesn't have to be that. So bring in some fresh florals. Like this is ornamental kale. Like you could pick this up most anywhere right now. I picked up some, really pretty little baby eucalyptus from Whole Foods Market just yesterday. Rosemary. This is, you guys, it just gives a fragrance to your table, like a beautiful bouquet of rosemary. I didn't have a special vase for this. I actually put it in a water glass. So don't overlook what's in front of you, right? Mason jars with sunflowers. I like to cut mine like kind of short enough so their little vases like sit up on the top of the vase versus like drooping over. That's my little trick for you guys. Mom, I like to put everything in a cylinder vase. At Christmas, I put beans in a cylinder vase. In the autumn, I might do little pumpkins, or these are Michigan apples. So again, I like the feeling of like something natural, something local. I wanted to have like a little bit of a rustic feel, but I didn't want it to be like, just all metal and kind of heavy. So I think this kind of is a warm setting for us. So we kind of go down the line here. This is again a beautiful pumpkin that we got from English Gardens, the white little gourds, so pretty, right? Especially if you're doing a modern setup. Little oriental lanterns, they call these. This is a dry product I picked up at the farmer's market, a couple pine cones. And this is one of my favorite things. So this is just like kale that we use in our kitchen. And I just put it in a vase with like natural food products, some Brussels sprouts, some cranberries floating around, and I just took a little bit of olive oil and I oiled the leaves so it'd be just like a little shiny. That's another little trick for you at home.
So could you make a salad out of that after you're done?
You could make a salad after you're done. So after you put it out for centerpiece, you can have a salad the next day. So again, I won't go on and on, but there's some nice wood pieces, and so it has like a warm feel. We have some placemats that kind of like break up the wood feel with some like golden, like muted colors. So I like things just to be like a little muted, kind of soft, without like, it's like, oh, it's all like tin, or it's all this, or it's all that. So I like using a few different mediums. So now that we've kind of used our recipe and we've set our stage, let's kind of go into the most important part of our happy hour nosh, after of course raising money for Forgotten Harvest Farm, is some of our food. So I picked a menu today that felt kind of noshy to me, like something that you didn't need to get so committed to that you needed a knife and a fork and a table. Like these are things that'd be easy, like to scoop, smear, spread, have a nibble, go back and have another nibble. So that's my favorite way to eat, kind of like autumn al fresco kind of sort of thing. All right, so our first recipe is going to be the goat cheese bowl. So just some goat cheese, right? It's in a bowl, no big deal. This is how hard this is. Just wait and see. It's going to take me like 30 seconds. So,
Kelly, if somebody didn't like goat cheese, could you use other cheeses?
yeah, you could do, I think a ricotta would be really nice, Adrian. And, there's ricotta salata, which is a really dry ricotta cheese. And actually, I do that a lot. And I put, maple syrup in it and some different jeweled things. I say jeweled because these are dried apricots, cherries. So I'm just going to kind of quickly just dice up some of these little apricots. This could have blackberries. I have cherries today. You could do cranberries. What I will say, the nice thing about recipes, our happy hour people, is they're just guidelines. I think sometimes people get really stuck. Don't get stuck. They're just guidelines. They're like permission to drive sort of situation. So don't worry if you don't have something, just use something else or just omit something, no problem. All right, so now we have our apricots in here. On the recipe, I call for pepitos, which are really nice, little toasted seeds. Another way we often make it is with the beautiful sugared nuts, and those are also pretty cool. So now we have our cranberries, and just for fun, I'm going to put the nuts in too because I have them. And we're just going to give that a little drizzle. Michigan maple syrup, agave, honey, whatever's at your house. That's the right thing to do. We're just going to look for a little sweetener. And then, we can just give it a little fluff to kind of get it rolling. And it's beautiful. It's easy. This would be great for any cocktail party, any holiday party. I think a really important part of this are the carriers for the dish, right? So crostinis, cucumber coins, so on and so forth. Today what I did was, I think everybody always thinks you have to have all these special baguettes, but these were actually just little rolls that I sliced up into crostinis. So I could pick a few rolls and get a whole bunch of different flavors without getting a whole baguette of this and a whole baguette of that. So we have some multigrain, I have some seeded. These are the little raisin walnut toasts, and that would be really great, right, with this beautiful bowl. This would be actually my pick, a nice walnut toast with some raisins or cherries in it. And then you'll see with our next dish, these are little kind of little pumpkin or pretzel, little pretzel crostinis where you can make a little bigger one, and that's kind of fun too.
And for the gluten-free people, you just mentioned the vegetable coins, and there's other crackers.
Yeah, vegetable coins. Of course, there's a myriad of gluten-free crackers on the market. The little flatbreads, you could toast them up in the oven, and ta-da! All right, I'm going to grab my next little item up for that. All right, so next, what we're going to do is our sweet potato hummus. So here's my little trick for you on this. I'm going to get a little bit of this noise out of my way. Thank you. So with our sweet potato hummus, could be pumpkin hummus, something kind of autumn feeling. I'm going to keep my pretzel little guys up here because I think that's a really good match with that. And then all you need to do basically is take the 3 ingredients I've listed on your recipe. You're going to puree it all together, right, in the food processor. If you like it a little hot, add a little cayenne pepper, a little chipotle. Again, a recipe is just a guideline to take you to the next place. I chose roasted sweet potatoes today. You know what? If you want to use a can of pumpkin puree and doctor up your hummus with that and maybe add a little chipotle to it, fabulous, you're right. If you don't want the work, you just want it to be fast, no problem. So, once you have your beautiful hummus, you probably want to adorn it, right, with some vegetables. So here's some carrot sticks, right, some peppers, some little pita chips. So these are these really beautiful, rosemary crisps, kind of fun, dip them in, dip them out. Just because it's fall, I'm going to take those same toasted pepitos that I had from my other bowl, and I'm just going to give a little sprinkle on top. And then, just some really pretty cucumber coins. And, you can line all this up right next to your dish and kind of arrange it. I think arrangement's really pretty, organized, which is why I like to work with little vessels. These are just little, actually they're floral vases. I use them all the time for vegetables and such. Some pepper strips, my little tipsy whipsy rosemary crackers, and just kind of line everything up. I was going to show everybody a little trick with making nice vegetables really quick. So, right, try to keep everything the same, and as you cut them is how you want to lay them down, because it gives you symmetry. Okay, so we'll just take that away, and I think we're going to move on to...
We are moving on to the flatbread pizza.
That's my favorite. Thank you. So easy, quick, fast. No muss, no fuss. I'll take that first. Thank you.
Through the magic of TV.
There we go. All right, so I kind of worked ahead, you guys, so we could show you everything. So I'm a couple steps ahead of you. So you're just going to take your naan bread. They sell them usually in 4-packs. This is a little bigger because I buy it commercially, but it's like the same sort of situation. And then what we're going to do is, you add a few ingredients, you wilt your kale, and the recipe will tell you to crisp up your sage, so on and so forth. So I'll take my little spread and I'll just kind of spread that along.
That looks good.
I
Can you
know.
use different spreads or?
Yeah, well, the recipe tells you to kind of mix the chipotle with this, and that. I'm just kind of speeding it up for our purposes. But yeah, this is a little pumpkin puree. You can mix a little pumpkin puree or not in with your cheese, a little chipotle I have in here. So it just has a little bit of kick to it, just a little bit of smoke, right? The kale, I like to just give it a quick little wilt in a pan, just so it's not oh, there's raw kale in my pizza, right? But it does bake down a little bit as you bake it. And then, of course, the harvest squash, right, you guys? I have all these different squashes. We're just going to put those right on top. We're going to do a little cheese, a little prosciutto. You can crisp it up. You could put it, flat on and then just bake it. A little more cheese on top. I mean, it's beautiful, right? And then we'll show you how to cut them in just a second. I just wanted to show you, canned pumpkin's not against the law. It's fine. Go ahead and use it if you have a need to. And then some fresh sage. So then, after you do that, you're going to pop it in the oven and da-da-da. Thanks, Adrienne. Mm-hmm. You're going to end up with this gorgeous baked flatbread, right? So what we're going to do then, just to make it kind of portion control, you're going to take your naan. You can trim off the edges. I kind of like the crispy edges, so I'm going to leave it on for my purposes today. But I'm just going to give it a slice, and you're just going to cut them into manageable pieces, right? Probably 1.5 by 1.5 kind of situation. And then you'll have just the right size, perfect piece.
Kelly, you said if I sat with you here today and helped you,
I
I
know.
might get to try something.
I know. I'm going to give you one. Oh, let me get the little fried sage on it. This little perfect little fried sage. And then, of course, the crispy sage you can add in any which way you want. So you could, I have these little quarter sheet trays. You can buy them at most of your, wholesale kind of stores. You can find them in probably other home stores too. And I like these because I think they're kind of fun. Is it good? It's delicious.
Oh my gosh. So awesome working for a catering company.
Awesome. I'm so glad you like it. So these little trays are great. They're great for passing. I use them for display. I mean, sometimes I kick it up a notch and don't, but it's kind of nice because you can take it from the oven to serving. And I think keeping things easy without having to buy a ton of products that you're not going to use again is super important. All right. Perfect. Let me get my towel, and I need those little elements separately, please. All right. So our next item is probably my favorite today. And it's going to be our salmon. We do a wonderful glaze that has a little bourbon in it, mustard, a little bit of maple syrup. And when you add those things and you coat the salmon in it, it kind of gives you that little bit of crust on it, almost a little burn to it. It's so delicious. Thank you. And I'll take the little platter too, please. Thank you. All right, so what we're gonna do is we could serve it just like this. We could put some skewers in it. Today I'm going to just make a little bit of garnish for mine. So I could choose, I have a beautiful Brussels sprout little slaw here, which is just some shaved Brussels sprouts, pickled onions. I actually just drizzled the same marinade on this, add a little salt and pepper and some extra vinegar, and it's delicious. So just to add a little brightness to our platter. And that would be super yummy with that. Another idea might be to use some crispy Brussels sprouts, right? A maple bourbon glazed salmon, some crispy Brussels sprouts, would be totally delicious. So actually we're gonna do 2 garnishes on this one tonight because, you know why? Because we can.
Because we can.
Yeah,
Looks
love that.
Gorgeous.
So the crispy Brussels sprouts, they just sort of feel like autumn, don't they? You could put a little drizzle of the mustard bourbon on that too. Okay, so now that we have that, I would just, and how you cut your salmon is how you wanna lay your salmon, right? So when things look really organized, it's because you use principles of, garde-manger, where you keep things lined up, right? And it just kind of makes everything fit. So we're going to go ahead and take our salmon, and we're just going to layer it really pretty on our platter. And then I'm gonna grab a spoon. We're just gonna take a little bit of that glaze and we're just gonna kind of top it. You know, Adrian, I have a little basil on this. This could also, I mean, you could take a little crispy sage in a second. A little orange zest would be nice. And again, you could serve this with small plates, or you could serve this with little picks, right? And talking about small plates, let me show you a couple. Yeah, I'll take that, that's fine. You know, a nice size, right? Little ones or little micro plates. All these are available at most of the home stores or certainly online, right? So we'll just kind of put those aside. And next we're gonna do our demi salads. Again, like so simple. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like I gotta have something green wherever I go, right? Especially if I'm having like pumpkin harvest lattes. So we'll take our greens and, you know, I like to kind of manicure them a little bit if I'm gonna put them in something small. So no matter how, could you hold it for me just for a minute so it's not in the way? So we're gonna just kind of give them a little chop. And then kale, like, oh my gosh, any reason to have kale is good for me. And kale and pumpkin and squash together, it's like a perfect moment.
Well, look at the colors of all the leaves. I mean, it's gorgeous too.
I know, I love autumn salads. I love them. All right, so we're gonna take our bigger bowl and we're just gonna toss those in there. So if you're gonna make them ahead of time, then don't dress it. So I'll pretend like I'm making them ahead of time, even though we're gonna totally eat this. All right, so maybe you're doing this right now with me. Okay, great, let's go. So we have some of our beautiful roasted vegetables. Again, this could be pepitos, it could be sugared nuts. The recipe calls for the Marcona almonds, just a nice, I think with salad, you always want a nice little crunch, right? And then manchego cheese, which is one of my favorite cheeses. I just chip it, you know, I just take a knife and kind of chip it, but you could totally grate it or whatever you want. All right, so after we mix that up, we can just, these are like the little wine cups you buy from the party store. Like so easy, you guys. And this is what we use at our events too. I mean, they look great.
And if you have a, you know, glassware at home that you've never pulled out that looks really pretty that you think a salad might go into, that's a great.
And that's great. Me at my house, I'm throwing away this little cup at the end.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just
Not everything
simple,
has to be hard.
Simple. And then, so if I did it ahead of time, I could put this in the fridge hours before, and then just before service, I would just give it a little drizzle. I'd stick a little fork in it, and then I would just line them up like little soldiers on the table. Maybe just put a note on top to make sure people know there's nuts in it, because of course, you know, some people have some tree nut allergies. So I don't know, that was pretty simple, Adrian.
That's super fun.
I know, and it could be anything.
Yeah. A lot of
I mean, you could change the ingredients. Yeah, for the holidays, you could use like pomegranate seeds and make it like kind of, you know, holiday-esque. And then, last but not least, we are going to do, well, we're going to do two more things.
Yeah, we got two more.
Two more.
But this is my favorite.
Okay. So, zoodles, right? Fun. Anything that's a spiral, you got to love it. So, you can actually do this if you have like a zoodle maker. You know, it's just one of those little cranky guys. You can buy them online. They have them at most of the Asian markets. I'll take the other guys too. So basically what I did was I just made zoodles and I gave them like a little saute and I put some olive oil, some seasoning. Some of the little cherries that like fell off the meatballs, I mixed those in. And I guess I should say this could be a great vegan dish if you do serve it separately. So let's keep that in mind. All right, so we're gonna put our zoodles down on the platter. As you can tell, I'm taking such great care in doing this. It's just this easy. It's supposed to be like messy and fun, right? All right, so we have our zoodles. And then our pumpkin meatballs, our turkey apple meatballs with a little cranberry chutney. And we make this. There's a recipe in your packet. Do that. If you didn't make it, good for you. That's fine too. They sell some great chutneys at the market. We could put this in our meatballs and stir them up, or we could serve the sauce on the side, or we could do both. Since we can, I'm going to do both today. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stir that up. You know, always a little salt and pepper. So I love this recipe. It has the grated apple in it. So nice. Just remember when you're making it, after you grate the apple, to give, it says in the recipe, but give it a little squeeze so it's not too wet. This recipe does call for some breadcrumbs. Could be panko, could be regular, could also be gluten-free breadcrumbs, or just take oatmeal and soak your oats like in your egg till they get really soft and give them a little buzz. totally the best thing in the world to make a meatball, right? Especially if you're going to make it gluten-free.
And what about vegan options for your friends that are coming? What about that Impossible meat? How do you?
Yeah, we do a lot of things with that. I mean, it can kind of just like anything take on a lot of different flavors. So you could certainly make like a beautiful vegan meatball. You could serve this differently. Can you grab me one of those little micro plates and a little fork? So we could serve them like this and people could help themselves. Whoops. One meatball bit the dust. Can you give me one of the little black ones? All right, so this could be the situation, or you could take literally like a little fork and twist your noodles, like a regular fork, like a big guy. There should be some in the little tin behind us. Here we go. So you could twist it with your fork. I kind of got ahead of it a little bit. And then you could make sure you have a nice turkey with some of the sauce on it. And you could just like have those lined up on your counter. So easy. All right. This is going to be like my go-to after we're done with this. All right.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, but it's all easy. And it's like great fall flavors.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to let you take that. And then on to our bonus section today. Nope, just the dessert, please. Okay, so here we are, you guys. This could probably
go to a donut shop today.
This could probably be the easiest party dessert that you'll ever do. And I'm telling you, people, it's so funny. Like, we cater weddings that have like whole donut bars, and you think like people have never seen a donut in their life. I don't know what it is about donuts, but they make everybody like super, super happy, right? I'll take some of the little black plates, please. So, you could have whatever toppings you want. Today we have caramel, we have Nutella, you could have chocolate ganache, and the whole like dipping situation here, should you choose to dip, or you could make individual plates if you didn't want to do that, is you just take like your donut of choice. We have the cider mold donuts, little caramel. Could dip it in some sprinkles. I think I might want a little Nutella on mine, and maybe a couple of baby forks for me to grab some other stuff.
Absolutely.
But it's kind of fun. And you know what? I always think when people get to like drive and make decisions, it makes them happy. Like interactive food, I always think is really interesting, right? Like when you get to add something or take something away or have something or not have something. We have toasted coconut.
You could do a kid version of this too, right?
You could totally do this. Well, I know Adrienne actually set this up. Thank you, Adrienne. Fabulous sous chef.
I picked my favorite things.
She picked her favorite things. So, we have peanuts, but we might not have that out if we have a kid party, right? But we could do sliced almonds. Adrienne put some of that Heath toffee in there. Like I would totally have Heath toffee on mine. So today we have glazed donuts, but you could get, they have so many different kinds of little donut holes. They have the little cider mill ones, and you could put maple syrup on this, right? So,
absolutely. Custard.
All right. So I think the thing to remember, our little Nosh family, is with recipes, they're all just guidelines. Take it a step at a time, use things that you have in your home. If you have to make substitutions, I'm giving you permission to do that. Just drive how you want. So thanks so much for joining us for the recipe portion today. We hope that you're making this at home, or perhaps you've bought a package and you're enjoying it right now. And thanks so much for tuning in and helping us help and support Forgotten Harvest and all the wonderful things they do.
Bon appetit.
Wow, Kelli, that looks amazing. Thank you so much to you, and of course, Detroit City Distillery for making our afternoon fun. We really appreciate you, and hopefully this has inspired you to take a moment and to give to Forgotten Harvest, to realize that our community needs you right now. We need each other right now. If you can, please text FEED20 to 91999. If you have some spare change, we will take that too. Also, the web address is at the bottom of your screen. Check out that silent auction. It closes noon on Sunday, October 25th. A lot of great things there for you to pick up and support the effort at the same time. We thank you so much for joining us for this fun Women's Harvest Happy Hour. We have had a ball. We're going to enjoy the rest of that cocktail and enjoy knowing that we're supporting each other and families through Forgotten Harvest.